Okay team, we're at week 4 of the Semi-Private Coaching Club, and the first question we have for you today is, hey listen, 3-Step Body, why can't science just give me the perfect diet? And look, it can from only a scientific point of view, right? So we're not just dealing with Mother Nature. So if we call Mother Nature our biology, pure and simple biology, then that would be easy. If we're just dealing with that, no worries. We could write you the perfect diet from a scientific point of view, from a biological point of view, and no worries, it would all be fine. But we're not just dealing with Mother Nature, we're dealing with human nature. And human nature, in our infinite wisdom, maybe we've produced and constructed these societies that we live in. We've constructed these rituals that we all go to and we all participate in, which are built around eating more and drinking more, and we spend time with friends and family, and when we do that, we share food and drink, and we're always constantly driven towards buying more and eating potentially more, and buying and trying all these different things, and we go and travel, and then we go and try the foods, and there's no way science can account for all those variations, all those perturbations and vibrations in the behaviors that you decide to do from day to day, or from week to week, or from time in your life to time in your life. So a plan needs to be flexible. It needs to be what we call here anti-fragile. Now, we borrowed that term, and anti-fragile means that something gets stronger with volatility. So if I pick up my phone and I throw it across the room, it doesn't get stronger, it breaks. But what we try to do with our diet and with the 3-Step Body is we try to build in reliable rules when it comes to volatility. Hey, what do I do when I'm traveling? What do I do when I'm really busy? What do I do when I'm injured or sick? And we will learn about that in future weeks in the Semi-Private Coaching Club. But remember, one of the basic arrangements that we have here in the 3-Step Body is our diet needs to be flexible. And something that is flexible has built into it anti-fragility. It's resistant to volatility. So science will never be able to give you the perfect diet, especially given a long timeline of change. So a timeline where we want to keep this body and keep working our body forever. It will never be able to respond to those complexities. But of course, if you were a robot, we could write you the perfect diet. And that brings us to our next question, which is, how do I keep eating healthy and training even though I'm traveling? And look, this is something that you'll find is the hardest thing, and one of the hardest things about the 3-Step Body and about your nutrition journey. The other hard thing is about how to integrate these principles with your friends and family. That's really tough, and it requires leadership. It requires you recognizing that you've picked up this burden, and it's a heavy burden, and you are responsible for a push versus pull strategy. A push strategy is telling everybody to do what you do and do as you say, whereas a pull strategy is you perform the behaviors that are good for you, and you work hard and you're conscientious and disciplined, and you get these great results, and all of a sudden people start looking over your shoulder and saying and asking, hey, what are you doing to get these results? It's really amazing, rather than chastising you about what you're doing. So when we're traveling, we're taking out of our normal environment, we're potentially greeted with the whole slew of different foods, and we don't have our gym membership to fall back on. So what do? Well, with the training thing, firstly, we need to recognize that it's a 20-minute training session done on the beach or in the backyard or in the courtyard is just as efficacious as an hour training session where you're deadlifting your max and you're really pushing yourself. It's not perfect. A 20-minute training without any equipment is not perfect, but you can do walking lunges, you can squat, you can do push-ups, you can do Australian rows, which is you've got a rail and you get underneath the rail and you pull yourself up to it. You can find some bars if you're strong enough and do chin-ups and pull-ups. There's a lot you can do. You can go for a jog, you can go for a run, you can climb a mountain, you can swim in the hotel pool. if you put your mind to it, there's a lot you can do. It's just that sometimes we figure, hey, we've been working so hard. We're going to use this holiday just to completely slacken off. And that is a symptom of a life that it hasn't been organized. A life that hasn't been organized when you're working, you're sleeping properly, you're eating properly, you're managing your stress, which are all big integral parts of the three-step body. So they're things that we need to be working on. And we can diagnose ourselves that if we do go on holidays and we do lose the plot, we don't exercise at all, and we eat at the buffet 3 times a day, and we put on all this weight when we go on holidays and we sacrifice our physiology, so our bodies, we could diagnose that as a symptom of, hey, our life during our working time must not be going as good as we think. And it's evidence, and it's a feedback loop that we can get, and we can get that evidence, and we can look at it and try to diagnose the problems, whether it's sleep, or you're working too many hours, or you're not working effectively, or your relationship is causing you stress because you're not communicating properly. Whatever it is, it's not for us to tell you, it's for us to give you help with, it's for us to help provide some clarity around, but it's for you to really pick up and be your own scientist on it. And that's a good indicator that there's an issue if you're unable to eat properly and train and keep your body just a little bit while you're on holidays. So the training is up to you. Most gyms will offer a free day visit, or look, I know it's generally expensive, but you can always pay for a day pass. Usually a day pass, you can go in the morning and then the afternoon again, so you can be sneaky when it comes to that. Now, what about food? I mean, hotel breakfasts are normally full of booby traps, but if you stick to the fruit tray and the eggs and black coffee or tea, then you're going to go just great. You don't have to do black coffee. I just said black coffee because there's less calories in it. Take your coffee however you like to, as long as it doesn't have sugars. You'll be able to navigate through any hotel breakfast with eggs and fruit. You really will be. And that's important when it comes to lunch. I mean, firstly, the 3-stop meal strategy works perfectly for when you're away, because you're going to have this big breakfast, you're going to have this lunch. Your lunch, you really can manipulate that to have it similar. Use your flexible dieting principles. Use your kind of math skills where you've got a higher protein meal and splitting your carbs and not too many fats and all those sort of things. So you've been teaching yourself how to do this as you've been progressing forward in the 3-step body. And that's why the 3-step body is a program that features resilience, it features flexibility, because we recognize this through experience. We've recognized this through trying to live a cool life where we go out and travel and see the world. We've experienced that, hey, we don't want to do this at the cost of our body and our health. That's not a good trade. Why can't we have both? And the answer is you can, with simple, smart planning and some sort of ability to execute part of your plan, at least while you're away. So read the workbook below. There's lots of handy hints.